Hi there. On the 12th of December 2024, the BBC reported, and I quote, that a Leicester police officer who sparked international headlines over religious tensions has been cleared of misconduct by an independent investigation. Thousands of people signed a petition calling for Sergeant Ahmed to be suspended after he stopped a Hindu procession and arrested a community leader. It prompted angry claims and counterclaims of religious discrimination between Hindus and Muslims in the city. Footage that went viral on social media showed how tempers flared as Sergeant Ahmed, who was Muslim, stopped a group of Hindu worshippers. A community leader, Domesh Lakhani, confronted him and repeated a "do not touch our priest." Body-worn footage indicated that there was physical contact as the officer guided along one of the procession organizers while walking with a large group of people near the road. "We took the view that this contact was reasonable in the circumstances," the spokesperson added. The confrontation prompted headlines as far afield as India, where it was covered by TV rolling news channels. In our opinion, there was no evidence to indicate the officer's actions were due to any religious differences with the attendees, the IOPC said. Sergeant Ahmed, who featured in the BBC TV series Fresh Cops, hit back against the complaints against him in a public social media post for Islamophobia Awareness Month. Writing on LinkedIn, he said he was deeply shaken by what he described as an online smear campaign. He said a torrent of baseless attacks had turned into a case filled with Islamophobic and racial abuse. End quote. Conclusion. Fact 1. The investigation found that some of Sergeant Ahmed's remarks could be considered disrespectful. And I quote on the 13th of August 2020. A special constable was sacked for Islamophobic remarks. Misconduct Panel Chair Jenny Tolentire said, "This is a case of discrimination against those of Islamic faith." End quote. So, it seems here, the sentiments of Muslims is upheld. Fact 2. Indian media cover the topic? What's the big deal? British media constantly covers Indian news. Fact 3. Sergeant Ahmed is crying foul over Islamophobic comments. Does the Quran contain any love for polytheists Hindus? Nope. The Quran contains many hateful verses for disbelievers. Let's take a look at some heartwarming Quranic verses, which displays love for infidels. Chapter 4 verse 54, and I quote, "Surely those who reject our signs, we will cast them into the fire. Whenever their skin is burnt completely, we will replace it so they will constantly taste the punishment. Indeed, Allah is Almighty, All-Wise." End quote. Oh dear, are you ready for the next one? Chapter 98 verse 6, and I quote, "Indeed, those who disbelieve from the people of the book and the polytheists will be in the fire of hell, to stay there forever. They are the worst of all beings." End quote. Can you feel the love? Let's take a look at another. Quran chapter 23 verse 117, and I quote, "Whoever invokes, besides Allah, another God, for which they can have no proof, they will surely find their penalty with their Lord. Indeed, the disbelievers will never succeed." End quote. The Quran is filled with so much diversity. This Allah loves everyone. And I quote, chapter 3 verse 85. "Whoever seeks a way other than Islam, it will never be accepted from them, and in the hereafter they will be among the losers." End quote. And here, the Quran has so much respect for non-Muslims. Chapter 4 verse 56, and I quote, "Surely those who reject our signs, we will cast them into the fire. Whenever their skin is burnt completely, we will replace it so they will constantly taste the punishment. Indeed, Allah is Almighty, All-Wise." End quote. How can any sane person find this normal? Chapter 22 verse 19, and I quote, "These are two opposing groups that disagree about their Lord. As for the disbelievers, garments of fire will be cut out for them and boiling water will be poured over their heads." End quote. Did your Muslim friend ever discuss their thoughts on Hindu polytheists? And I quote chapter 6 verse 106. O Prophet, follow what is revealed to you from your Lord. There is no God worthy of worship except him, and turn away from the polytheists. End quote. Conclusion. We can clearly see the Quran contains hate and has no respect for Hindu polytheists.